Call to order. Everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Special meeting to be held on Tuesday, July 27th at 4 o'clock for the presentation and the introduction of fiscal year 2022 municipal budget and a meeting with department heads. Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home District and Star Ledger published a notice on July 23rd, 2021. Copy of the notice was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Spiller.
Here.
Councilman Ficarra.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilwoman Drum. Councilman Patel. Councilman Anderson. Councilwoman De Jesus.
Here.
Vice President Bauer.
Here.
And President Swell.
Here.
Mr. President, before you, I have two resolutions and an ordinance. I'd like to take them as the first action items. Before I do so, can I get a motion to open the public comment portion of this meeting?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. At this time, if anybody from the public would like to make any comments, please step forward. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public comment portion be closed?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So beginning with resolution, we'll take resolution number 1 first, which is a resolution in Township of Woodbridge to anticipate miscellaneous revenues in the fiscal year 2020 recreation utility budget. Can I get a motion to approve resolution number 1?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll take letter A, which is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on July 30th, 2021, with notice of public hearing to be held on August 17, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And then number 2, which is why we're here tonight, can I get a motion to introduce the fiscal year 2022 budget?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. President, we're all set to begin the special meeting. If you would follow along with the sheet, which starts with the police department, we'll begin reviewing the budget of the police department. Director Hubner is here, as well as Patrick Kenny. Starting with Department 2210, you'll see OE pages and salary wages pages are on that list. If you need me to just state them, let me know. If not, we'll just move forward.
Thank you. Directors, how are you? Good. Director Hubner, 6,000, page 11. The increase in first aid contributions leads to.
Sure. Monthly, we're averaging about 1,100 calls township-wide. We need to staff 5 ambulances. So most of that money that's contributed to the first aid squads is used for salary and operating expenses. The increase in the salaries is going to help us retain our EMTs because we were on the lower side of pay and we were starting to lose people.
Very good, thank you. Second question, this is on behalf of Councilwoman Drum to Director Hubner. For the police body cams, how much will the new initiatives cost to the town, and will we be getting any funding from the outside?
We did apply for a grant through the state, and we're receiving approximately $509,000. The cost of the equipment is in excess of $732,000. We're hiring 3 people to run the body cam unit. We have hired 1 individual who will be running it. We're interviewing for the 2 additional spots. So we're estimating the salary without benefits to be around $229,000. And then the furniture and accessories for the office is about $20,000. So you're talking about $1 million, just under $1 million.
Thank you.
Council President?
Are we on,
No, sorry.
are we on the first aid or on the police?
Director Hubbner. Councilman Spiller?
Thank you. Director Hubner, I didn't see this earlier, just caught my eye. On page 88, body in-car camera equipment, it's been 0 and then it was up to 75,000. Does that have anything to do with the body cams as well, or?
Yes, the body cams and the in-car cameras are all going to be incorporated into one. We've had the in-car cameras for years. We're using the same company for the body cams.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Anybody to my left for Director Hubner? Or yes.
Director, I have a couple of questions. Page 89, line 4375, vehicle leases, it's a $485,000 increase. Are we replacing our fleet?
Well, we're constantly changing the fleet and updating cars that are, older. But with the addition of the additional officers the mayor has hired, we need more cars, to have cars for the officers. So we added 5 fully equipped police cars. And this year, normally we have 2 lease payments per year. This year, we have 3, the way the scheduling worked out. So that's why the large increase.
Council President, I have 2 more questions. Can I continue? Director, page 91, line 5115, continuing education. Is a $20,000 increase, which I'm all in favor of. Is the continuing education required? Is it volunteer or a combination?
It's a combination of both.
Okay. And with this increase, is there a plan? Are we targeting anything in continuing education?
Absolutely. As you know, recently police have been under the gun about training. We've always sent our officers for additional training. We're going to continue to do that. A lot of it has to do with people in crisis, whether it's mental health or people with disabilities. But we also have to keep updated on search and seizure, use of force, things of that nature. Also, again, going back to the additional officers that we're hiring, we have to train field training officers, people who are going to train them once they're out of the academy and on the road. So we have to send them to school for that. Also, we have to increase the number of supervisors, and we send them to a supervision school, intense supervision. So,
Great. Thank you. As I said right at the beginning, I'm in favor of it. I just wanted clarification. And my final question is, Manny, this might be more of a question for you because I've noticed it across the board. There seems, for example, page 92, line 5330, telephone expense. There's expenses there where there never were, or there haven't been in recent years. And I've noticed that in other departments, so.
yeah, I can answer that if you want. Sure. For us in the police department, we never paid for that. Sometimes purchasing would throw a bill our way and we have no money. It's been decided that the police department is going to add all phone equipment and cell phones that the officers are assigned to the police department. So we're paying for everything within the police department. So
Okay.
that's why that big
Make that, I kind of thought that makes perfect sense.
So just a little clarification, so that was me.
Okay.
So when you look at telephones, it was allotted to one group and then dulled out, where one department may be larger than the other. So it was really hard to budget for. Now that department is taking responsibility of their own phones, so they're a little slow to hand them out too.
Okay. Then I'm going to spare you guys all my phone questions for the other departments.
Tell her we said hello.
Yes, and then hello, Maritza.
Council President, I had the same question as they did, but I just have a comment. I just want to thank you and the police department I know it's been a difficult year, and the police department really has done so much for the community, and we appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment too. Last year was a tough year, especially for the police department, but you and your department has taken head, and in answering Councilman Ficarra's question about continuing education, it just shows that you listened and heard what the community wanted, and there is no excuse for anyone to say that our police officers don't continue their education, don't listen. So I really do appreciate the fact that our police officers continue, not only do they get trained when they go to the police academy, but they continue their training and their education once they become part of the Woodbridge Police Department. So again, thank you for the work that you do, and we truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Police impound and Office of Emergency Management are you guys too, right? Of course. Okay, so, may I?
Sure.
I don't wanna- Page 95, line 4395, other equipment, $13,500 increase, not a lot, but what happens in the impound yard?
Other equipment? Okay, so we have an existing storage shed that's been there many years that we use to store some police equipment, some vehicles at times. We want to refurbish that shed and use it, and we're going to add some security equipment, video cameras, and alarm system for when a vehicle might be seized pending an investigation. It'll be in a security area, so.
Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Also, page 95, line 5305. This might be similar to the phone, Mr. Semaluka. It's electricity. Last year, we spent $1,300. This year, our budgeted request is $22,000.
We have now taken on the electric bill for the entire tow yard.
Was Mr. Semaluka at the bottom of that, too?
I believe he was, but I'll let him answer that.
That makes perfect sense to me. So you're
Allocating where it belongs.
allocating. I got you.
With Manny and Mike and putting it where it belongs.
Okay, so no more electricity questions from me and other departments. And then finally, in Office Emergency Management, Director Kenny, page 98, line 4120, emergency safety supplies, an increase of $35,000?
Yes, sir. What it is when we have a fire, a house fire, and it's during the night, and their insurance company, we don't get in touch with them, we board the house up, I pay for the supplies out of my budget, that DPW actually does all the work. And then I go after the insurance company to get reimbursed.
Okay.
The prices of wood and everything since COVID have gone up, so I wanted to make sure we increased it for fencing, if we have to fence off the house. I wanted to make sure that we had enough money in there to take care of the bills. So sometimes it takes a while before the insurance companies actually reimburse us, if they even do. And then sometimes we have to put a lien on the property. Try not to do.
I've been a councilman for 14 years. I never knew we did that, so
Yes,
thank you for
That was a
informing me.
mayor's initiative back in the day where these board-up companies were taking prey against the people during an emergency. You folks passed an ordinance that says they're not allowed to talk to anybody until the last emergency vehicle leaves. And we express, don't talk to those folks. Use what your insurance company tells you to do, for boarding up. But at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, we just call DPW and they come out and they actually board up the whole entire house for us. So this way we know it's safe, it's secure, and nobody else is going to get hurt.
Great, thank you very much.
Just a comment on that, and, there's no other town that does that. And unfortunately, seeing it firsthand at these fire scenes, the crews from DPW and OEM are there before the last fire truck's even leaving. And last thing, a couple needs is trying to worry about, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothes, and worrying about a unsecured building. So it's a great program. Thank you.
Director Hubner, Director Kenny, thank you for coming in. Thank you for your leadership. We appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next up is the Division of Assessment, which would be Rich Duda, tax assessor.
What is the,
Greg, I don't think you have anything that was.
1330 is the budget number.
okay, he's lucky.
3637 on the page. Yeah, that's fine.
Come closer, so don't bite. And we shall-
Again, Mr. Duda from the Tax Assessor's Office, pages 36, 37, OE 11 on S&W.
Does anybody to my left have a question for Mr. Duda?
I do. How you doing, Mr. Duda? Other outside services, 2021, we had a proposal of 7,700, requested for 2022 of 37,904, increase of 30,000. Could you explain that, please?
That's SDL, it was allocated to the rest, to a bunch of departments. We gotta get a grant for SDL software, so.
Okay, thank you very much.
So if I could, you're going to see SDL a lot. There's going to be a lot of questions about that. So what we've done is we've embarked in a software that's interactive with the public. One of the things that we do is we spend an inordinate amount of time on doing Oprahs. This is kind of gone rampant with realtors that want information on homes as far as the taxes are concerned, open permits, etc. So you're going to see that. It's also, this started because of COVID. People couldn't come into the building, so they opened the information instead. So we've reached out to a software company, we've engaged them. You're going to see that spread throughout the departments, and those monies have been allocated towards the usage as they'll see it. It'll also lessen some of the time for our employees to do some of these OPRA and background requests, right from the municipal clerk's office through the tax office through planning and development. So you'll see that throughout this budget.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
That's it. Nothing else? Thank you, Mr. Duda.
Okay, thank you very much, have a good evening.
Mr. Lorenzen, Tax Collector. Pages 33, 34 on OE, 10 on S&W. Again, Mr. Richard Lorenzen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lorenzen. Anybody to my left have any questions for Mr. Lorenzen?
Too scary.
Anybody to my left? No?
You'll also be taking sewer administration?
Yeah,
Correct. So that would be pages 172 and 174 on OE, 82 on S&W.
Anybody to my left, any questions? That's it.
What department is it again, Mr. Mitchell?
It would be under sewer administration would be his other title, which is 172, 174 under OE, 82 S&W. The sewer utility. Thank you.
thank you.
No other questions? Jen Burns, purchasing. Pages 16 through 18, OE, S&W 5. And she'll also be taking utility and bulk purchases, correct, Mr. Simaluka? And Jennifer Burns under purchasing, 16, 18, and 5 on S&W.
Go ahead.
I have a question. On page 18, 4910, advertising other, I've noticed, again, I think that's gonna be like the telephone and the electricity, because I've noticed advertising in other departments, because there was never any other requests in the previous years, but there's a $4,000 request for advertising. So I just wanted to know what sort of advertising.
We did add a new line this year for advertising. It is for soliciting for bids. Thank you. Thank you. It's for solicitation for various bids that we have. Normally, we do have other departments where we charge their bids to, but we have a lot of bids in purchasing too that we need to charge to specifically the purchasing line.
So was I right in assuming that that's gonna be like the telephone and the electricity, that's a new line item for every department? So
It's allocated to each department
Okay.
from their usage.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody to my left?
Jen, will you also be taking utilities and bulk purchases?
I believe so.
Any questions from council on that, which are pages 27 and 28 on OE? Any questions on those 2 pages? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Darren Crocker, Personnel. 26 and 27 on OE, 8 on S&W. Okay, again, Darren Crocker for Personnel.
So I have a question. On page 28, on the miscellaneous expenses, 5295, there is a $15,000 increase from previous years, and I just wanted clarification.
Sure, that's being moved from another line item for employee celebrations. It's our anniversary pins that we give over 5, 10, 15, 20 years for all of our employees.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. Crocker.
Thank you.
Next is Information Systems.
I'm sorry,
Brian,
Mr.
yes, Information Systems, Brian Austin. 177 through 179 on OE, 83 on S&W. Mr. Austin?
Good afternoon, Mr. Austin. Page 180, 4995. Does this budget include any plans for cybersecurity initiative due to the recent developments throughout the country?
Yes, so we actually hired a cybersecurity specialist this year to fill some of those roles.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Page 179, 4305. Computer equipment line had 75,000 and only used 1,000. Was the CARES Act money used to reimburse this line?
Yes, the CARES money was used to reimburse that line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I have a question from Councilwoman Drum. Can you please explain the Board of Ed project with security cameras and panic buttons?
So we're working with the Board of Ed right now to get a unified system between the Board of Ed and the township. So we're currently engaged in that process right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Council President, this includes cameras and panic buttons for all the schools, so we're embarking on that. And as you know, it's a very, very large job.
Yes. Anybody to my left?
Yes, all right, thank you, Mr. Austin. Mr. Haggerty, are we going to skip T35 for now and do it at the end?
Whatever you like.
Okay. We're going to jump to Planning and Development. Mrs. Darden is here, starting with her office, which is page 72 through 74 OE. I'll actually continue up through 82 with her various divisions, and starting with S&W 29 up through 33.
Anybody to my left?
Councilman Small,
Yes.
something good, I can't find that, I had a note on it, but can you just touch base on the fees for the notices?
Sure. I think throughout the department and a couple of the divisions, the boards, we spent, you'll see an increase more than a little bit, certainly due to COVID, but again, you know, I can't say thank you enough. And I know that you did also the same, where our boards volunteer and they met in person from the shutdown all the way through and continue to meet now. So, you know, I'm so proud of the work that we've done, and I know that you guys also, the council, continue to meet in person, and I know we've been recognized by the League of Municipalities as the only state that continued to do that throughout the pandemic. So that's why you saw an increase, and that number will go back down. We don't anticipate that we'll continue noticing at that level. There were a lot of protocols we put in place to ensure that everyone was safe when they showed up for meetings, and that was not easy, but I think that number will go back down, and you'll see that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Anybody else to my left?
And this is on her office, Planning Board, Zoning Board, Housing Bureau, and Construction Code. All of those were taken at this time.
Councilwoman?
On page 74, 4995, other outside services, can you just, what are the other outside services?
Oh, that would be in this budget, 4995, and most of the others is Laserpage. Or the storage that we do of all of our applications in perpetuity, that's required by the state in multiples of the divisions. We have a retention schedule, and that is stored, and we have millions of documents stored.
Thank you.
In total.
Anyone else?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Next
you.
up is the library, Monica Eppinger, Director, and that's all under your final tab. Okay, and she's also joined by Carol Eberhardt, one of the trustees on the board.
Hello. Anybody to my left?
I have one question. I think it's more of an accounting than. Throughout the library budget, they've taken advantage of all of the columns for this fiscal year coming up. There's a requested column, administrative recommendation, budgeted, and I noticed that throughout the whole presentation, the only one that takes advantage of those three columns is the library, which I think is great. But I also noticed a few times where the budgeted amount was different from the recommended amount. Not that it matters, but.
When it comes to materials, are they all like adult foreign language and adult circulation? Is it those numbers that you're referring to?
Yeah, well, I'm referring to, like, just for example, on page 5 in your budget, main juvenile reference. So requested amount is $2,900. I'm just doing this as an example. $2,900. The administration recommendation was $2,100. The budget amount was $2,100. There's, it's a little different. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just interested to know how that all works.
Yeah, Councilman, I think it's just an input issue. I think the requested column, which is the column that the director used, is really what the budget line is. So it's the first column, the requested amount.
Okay.
Yes, we haven't reviewed it yet, and I think their trustees have. It's just the requested line is the budget line.
Yep. And I think I said this to you last year, Monica, the way that you prepared this budget is a relief for us, because it wasn't always this way back in the old days, so thank you.
I really appreciate the help of the finance office. Manny and Lisa Nolan have been, and everyone who's worked for that department have been very helpful to us. Nothing but helpful when it comes to making it so it matches what the township does.
Yep.
I can't thank everyone enough.
Greatly appreciated to everybody.
I just have a comment. Back in 2019, I met with Director Eppinger about a pop-up library, because I had read an article, and it was a way I thought to bring the library and bring books to areas in our township that don't have a branch. And I love meeting with Director Eppinger because she listens to my crazy ideas and then she goes along with them. But it's equity. We're bringing books to Caseby, we're bringing books to Hope Run, and I'm so happy that everywhere that I've gone, now that we're back opened up, there's always a tent with library and librarians, and they have free books for anyone, for adults. We were just at Reinhardt for Community Day, and they had adult books, free books that they can just take and enjoy. And when we do programs for the children, you have children's books. So I wanted to say on behalf of myself and my councilmates, I'm taking this by the hand, saying thank you, because you have been present, especially last year during COVID. There was always activities online that our residents could participate on. So thank you for a job well done to you and your staff.
Thank you to the council for all the support you give the library, because it's crucial to continuing, and we've had nothing but support. The TV35 episode where we were at the Earth Day, that was such a great segment that you did, Councilwoman, for us. Thank you to all of you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the municipal court. Pages 151 through 153 on OE, 60 to 61 S&W. And today is Court Director, Mr. Philip DiNicola.
Hello. Anybody to my left have anything for Director DiNicola?
Thank you, Mr. DiNicola. Next up is the Department of Health.
Everybody be well. Thank you.
We're going to start with 101 through 103 on OE and 41 on S&W. And tonight is our Deputy Director of Health, which is Phil Bujalski.
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon. I have one on page 107, 108, 4095. Director, is there enough money to support what may come for the Delta variant or other booster shots to follow this year?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, is there enough money to support what may come for the Delta variant or booster shot to follow within a year?
Well, there's a grant that's been added to the budget, as well as money from the American Rescue Plan.
Thank you.
On page 108, on professional services other, there is a $38,000 increase. And is this following along with Councilman Small in preparation for, hopefully, doesn't come, but could come with COVID-related issues?
Okay, and again, could you please reference that page? That's under nursing, right, Councilwoman?
It's page, yes, 108,
I
item
can-
number 4895.
I could, that's outside services other, so I can help out with that a little
I
bit.
actually-
And I, do you have, go ahead.
It's an increased request to cover the COVID clinics for this fiscal year that will resume.
Bringing in extra doctors and nurses to cover those clinics.
Anybody to my left?
Similar question, page 103, Phil, line 4995, again, other outside services. It's an increase of 30,200. Last year, we spent 1,033. We budgeted 2,000. We only spent a little over 1,000. And now we're requesting more. Yes, Councilman, so I believe there's a shared cost of a new township-wide computer system. Oh, okay, okay. Got it. Thank you.
We'll also be taking questions under animal control, environmental, and drug addiction services, as well as the administration and nursing.
Sure.
It's not on the pages, but, and I think I would direct it to you, is last year we put $200,000 into mental health. And I don't see a line item for that, and I just want to make sure that we're still
I do have that.
putting money in for mental health.
So, Councilwoman, I can probably handle that. So, we have reached out to many agencies to try to help us with that mental health issue, especially when it comes to the interaction between the police department and those individuals that they're called out to. We use many agencies, but one that we found was county funded. So it's SCOMOS, it's a special case management services, and they come out no matter what. And Councilman Ficarra has talked about this many times at council meetings. They'll come out 5 times to the same house, it doesn't matter. They don't charge because they do have funding. We still have those monies in reserve, and we will use them if needed. So those monies are still there. So yes, they're funded if need be. Right now, we're using an organization that doesn't require us to give them payment, and they've been working out fabulously.
Okay, thank you. And just a comment, thank you to you and your crew over at the health center. You have been fantastic. Every comment I've heard from any of our residents have just how kind everybody and how organized you were. And I know you weren't really ready for that job, but you did it with grace and understanding and compassion, and the whole community thanks you for.
There's a lot of, takes a village. Listen, none of this stuff happens without the mayor, his administration, and you folks to support that. And of course, we had some great leadership with Health Director Dennis Green, and all the support people that we had from the Health Department employees. Every one of them very important to that operation. Public Works, the police, DPW. We have a lot of people pulled together. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of infrastructure. The town should be very proud to have held. We were one of the only local health departments to have been approved by the Department of Health to be a vaccinator provider. There's a lot of boxes you have to check. There's infrastructure, personnel, you need a doctor. And to that end, all the people, all the employees that it took to check those boxes, I can't think of any better way that a township council and administration and mayor can help their people in this time of pandemic, but to offer a convenient clinic for a COVID vaccine, and they did that. And you guys should be proud of yourselves.
And as my colleague is whispering in my ear, and don't forget the school nurses.
Yeah, yes. Well, I find them to be, they are part of our health department family. But yes, thanks for identifying that. And the school nurses were invaluable to that end.
Although schools were closed during COVID, during the pandemic, they were there for every COVID clinic that the township held. So.
And I would encourage anybody who hasn't been vaccinated to strongly consider to do so, especially with the advent of the Delta variant. Our next clinic at the Woodbridge Health Department is this Thursday from 3 p.m. to 5. We're at 2 George Frederick Plaza, little brick building sitting between Main Library and the high school. And you get on Township website, and we have all the dates. We'll be continuing as you guys wish, and the mayor and administration will be continuing to providing these clinics to our residents and public at large.
As always, thank you, Director, to everybody at the Health Center. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your support. Without that, none of this is possible.
Thank you, Phil. You know, I just want to echo some of Phil's comments as some of the departments and the interaction between the departments from not only from the services, but for finance. Quite honestly, the controller's office, making sure that all the departments were funded during COVID. You know, that COVID money didn't come right away, so we had to do a lot of things. They had to do a lot of things to make sure that those departments were funded. So, and from every department's coordination, they've done a fantastic job.
Just a quick, under the salaries, South Amboy, Milltown, Roselle Park, for the shared services, where I see salaries, is that one of our employees and when they go there?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, Department of Senior Services, we have Director Michelle Morgan. We'll be beginning with pages 125 OE up through 139, S&W from 46 up through 57. This is for Office of Aging, Evergreen, Senior Transportation, and the 5 senior centers.
Good afternoon, Director.
Good afternoon, thank you.
I have a question on behalf of Councilwoman Drum. With the opening of 2 senior centers, have you accounted for new costs to operate the upcoming budget? Oak Tree and Maple?
Yes, of course we have. We are in a fortunate position where we have 4 previous senior centers to model from, and those 4 senior centers have been tremendously successful. From a financial perspective, we are mimicking that budget, and from a programmatic point of view, we are going to offer our seniors at the 2 new locations luncheons, activities, exercises, seminars, all the activities that our seniors deserve in order to maintain a healthy quality of life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Not a question, but just a very, very happy comment. To know I wanted the Maple Tree Senior Center, or a Maple Tree Senior Center for years. I can't tell you the enormous positive feedback I'm getting, just from residents, but especially the residents, especially the old school residents of Avenel. We are so excited with the Maple Tree Senior Center, with Maple Tree Manor right up the block. All our senior centers rock, but this is really going to be just fantastic. I want to thank the mayor, the administration, especially senior services, and yourself for all the help.
Why, thank you for the compliment. It really, it is the mayor's vision, and with the growing population of older adults, Woodbridge Township is really the trailblazer in that respect. With 3 divisions from social work, transportation, and the senior centers, they were in the front lines when it came to the vaccination rollout with registering senior citizens for the vaccines. The social work division assisted seniors with telehealth, and transportation helped with hundreds of meal deliveries, which I really have to thank the council, because many of you on this panel helped us to deliver meals to many isolated seniors. And so I thank all of you for your support. Whenever we needed someone, you were always there for us, so thank you.
And not only that, but I know you guys helped the seniors with their taxes during COVID so that they didn't have to leave their comfort zone and be exposed to anything. So you guys went above and beyond in helping our senior population.
Thank you very much. Again, Woodbridge Township is in the front lines. Woodbridge Township was one of the few municipalities that opened up their senior centers pretty early. We wanted to provide seniors that were suffering during COVID. We wanted them to come to our senior centers and enjoy some semblance of normalcy. So thank you for the compliment, and all back to you.
I just would like to put in my 2 cents too. Me and Michelle have spent quite a bit of time together this past year along with Councilman Guerra, and your position is a new position. It's a well-needed position as the Director of Senior Services. You do a great job with the seniors. It was sad. It's been a tough year, especially for our seniors, and when we went on those buses and we went out and we visited those seniors, they were so happy to see people. They really were failing, and they're so happy now. When I go there now and I see them and they're back and they're happy, and you guys did a tremendous job. And also your stow drivers, they were fantastic. They drove us around to the different buildings and the different homes. So thank you for all you do for our seniors.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's really pulling together all 3 divisions, so couldn't have done it without everyone's support from all of you and our senior center coordinators, our drivers, our social workers. So thank you.
Great team, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next up, Public Works.
Thanks, Rich.
Should be starting with Office of the Director, which would be OE pages 41 through 42, 16 on S&W. And he's initially joined by Michael Gellin, our municipal engineer. Mr. George Brew.
We might have just hit room capacity.
Under COVID, we passed it.
Anybody to my left have any questions for the directors?
So we're looking at 41 through 47 to include both Mr. Brew and Mr. Gellin, and 16 and 17 on S&W.
There was a telephone expense, but we already know that that's a new line item, so I don't have a question anymore.
Going once?
I'll just make a comment. Just thanks for everything you do for the township. You guys really help out our residents, and you do a great job all the time under your leadership, and you guys really work hard, so thanks for all you do for us.
Director Brew, Mr. Gellin, supervisors, superintendents, thank you for all you do. Our Public Works is certainly second to none. It's come a long, long way from when I was there. And I'm telling you, a long, long way. But you all do a great job. We appreciate everything you do for all our residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move
Council
down.
President, just if I could, on behalf of all of us, Public Works, I'd just like to thank the council, the administration. The support we get from everybody is overwhelming. You know, when we need a piece of equipment to do a certain job, we're able to get it. The support is overwhelming. I recently sent out a picture of a new sewer truck,
Most people don't get excited. Our employees get excited when we get a new, it's not like a fire truck, but they get, they take pride in what they do, and thanks to all of you. We really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure.
Council President, the mayor always touts that we're the best town around. It starts with our police department and our DPW department. They're second to none. They are the best in the state. They are the most responsive group of individuals I've ever worked with from a very long time. So my hat's off to them. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Anybody have any questions as we go down for the other divisions that are under Mr. Brew as well? Road repairs and maintenance, snow removal calamities, street sweeping, equipment repair. If you want to just continue through those pages in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Sanitation, public buildings and grounds.
Council President? Sir. Not a question, just a comment. Like Director Brew just said, guys get excited when they see a new piece of equipment. So I've been waiting 2.5 years to have my bins done with that machine that I fell in love with that Big Wheels Day 2.5 years ago. And I come home from Disney and my neighbor says, oh, they came and did your bins. I'm like, oh, that's outstanding. He goes, but I couldn't get them in time. So they're still back there. I'm like, oh, I was on vacation, but they came today. I got to watch them on the cameras. I'm all excited, but fantastic. So thank you very much. But as my fellow councilmate said, I want to thank the director, all the directors, all the divisions. You guys are great. I'm sure you don't like to, not like, but I send my emails and boom, it's done within a day or two. So thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. The residents, when they come back to me, they're like, I can't believe how quick this got done. I can't believe how they were fixed this. So it is noticed, and we all greatly appreciate it. So thank you.
And a lot of times they add in how nice and professional you are also to them. So.
Continuing with park maintenance, school custodians, on the sewer side of the budget, sewer maintenance, wastewater, sewer treatment, CP site. Any questions? Also, we have these in the sewer budget. Also, you'll find the MCUA and the RDSA allocations for that. I guess we go to Mr. Fernandez.
Councilman Phillips, just a question. Has, I know last year we were having an issue. Has the recycling leveled off a little bit? The pricing? I believe last year, wherever it was going, it was,
So our MCUA, their costs obviously went up a little bit. We were able to keep the line on them pretty much where it was last year. So, yeah, I think.
Or maybe it was 2 years ago. All of a sudden, whoever was in charge, I don't want to say jack the prices up, but we had a.
It has leveled off.
Okay.
It's definitely leveled off, and we've done some internal things. One of the things we have done is we've sorted a lot more of our recycling when it comes to heavy materials, copper, aluminum. We are sorting, and it's creating some revenue for us, so that's going to offset going forward. We got a nice piece of change this year so far, approximately 43,000 of sorted materials, so it's offsetting a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
So Councilman Spiller, we also just signed an agreement with Bayshore Recycling, 3.5 year agreement to hold some of those costs level.
Good. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We're going to jump into recreation, the recreation utility. Starting with OE 122 through 124, S&W 59.
Take care, everybody. See you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening.
I got one left.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, George.
So the other day,
I look out and my neighbor's got her recycling can and she's cleaning it with a hose. And I asked her, what are you doing? She said there was a sticker on the can that said clean, so I'm cleaning it. I said, no, it was cleaned. It was cleaned. You don't have
Sounds like a joke.
That's the best.
That is funny. Okay, you have both Mr. Molnar and Mr. Mueller. Again, this is starting with the recreation budget, and we'll go down the list.
Mr. Molnar, Mr. Mueller, welcome.
Thank you, Council President.
I got a question on page 144, 4515, 86 Green Street maintenance. It's like 30,000 last year, we didn't use it.
Yes, that is because 86 Green Street wasn't open. That's going to be our HVAC contract, so we're anticipating opening the museum this year, so we're going to need to, have that money in there.
Okay, I also have one on behalf of Councilwoman Drum on page 205, 5101, camp trips budgeted 30,000. Would that be the same thing?
Yes, yeah, because we didn't do trips this year because of COVID with the state of New Jersey restrictions. We're anticipating next year that we are going to be doing trips. We will be booking the trips in this budget.
Okay.
For next year's camps.
Thank you.
The recreation. On page 216, building and ground repairs, item 4535, it says for repairs, I guess, at $30,000. What repairs are those?
216.
Page 216, item 4535. There's an increase of $30,000.
Yeah, that's going to be for plumbing work. That's going to be done to the facility underneath.
For this facility here at the community center or across the street?
WCC, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody to my left? Councilman Ficarra?
Yeah, make yourself comfortable now. Recreation and services, in 3320 category, page 123, guys. Line 4155, recreational supplies is an increase of 40K. I'm a big fan of increasing recreation supplies, but it'd be nice to know.
Yeah, Councilman Ficarra, since the recreation department has taken over a lot of the recreation sports, soccer, basketball, eventually baseball, girls softball, we have to now purchase the supplies to run these sports.
Perfect, makes good. I'm a big fan of that centralization. My next question is on page 124, line 4910. An increase in advertising of 15K. I'm not so much asking about the expense, but what is our strategy? What is your strategy for advertising it? Is it a combination of digital and hard copy, or like what's your thoughts with advertising here?
Yeah, we try to do both. It is a different world where, there is print that we try to take advantage of, but there's also social media we try to take advantage of. We've started advertising in Discover Middlesex County. That's a printed magazine that we're trying to get out there. We do advertise in Staten Island in a paper magazine out on the island. So we try to reach out to different areas.
Okay, thank you. And finally, also on page 124, line 4995, other outside services, increase of 55K. Is that the software program, or?
No, that's the chart. That's what we contribute money toward, like the painting of the murals throughout town, the Seawarren Library.
Okay. All right.
WDYRC.
I know we got a big project with the library coming up, so that's good. Okay, I have a couple of other questions specific to the WCC wellness, the marina boat launch. Is that all under you?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a breath and let Councilwoman Meehan jump in there.
I just have one question. Page 199, outside services, there's been quite an increase from last year's 800,000. Can you tell me what that's for? line item 4995.
Yeah, that's, there's credit card charges and processing fees and for off-duty police that we have for different events here.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a comment regarding the youth centers. I'm really excited the fact that we moved from 1 to 3 youth centers. I know the Acacia Center, there's still work being done. That's on Port Reading Avenue, which will be beneficial for Port Reading kids, Woodbridge kids. They can ride their bikes or walk to. I'm very excited about that. And then you have Highland Grove for the Fords area, Hope Run, and KSB. And then, of course, there's Evergreen, which started it all. Hopefully one day, just like we have 5 senior centers, hopefully one day we'll see a youth center in every part of our township. And again, very excited about that because it'll provide a safe zone for our kids to go to after school, or when there's something, you know, if they don't have to go home and be home by themselves, they can come to a youth center and either get help with their homework or participate in an event. And again, that's really exciting because it's a safe zone for our youth here in our township. So I'm very excited about that.
Thank you. We're very excited about it too. We thank the mayor for his vision in putting this program in place, and we thank each and every one of you for your support.
Councilman Anderson.
Sure. Director, thank you very much on behalf of the residents and also the coaches in Woodbridge Township for the support through the WTYRC. And also for our future events and what you did this year for some of the outdoor events that we did for our community, in particular the Juneteenth event. Looking forward to working with the rec department again for next year on that. But thank you very much for the support of the WTYRC for many years, and also the just helping manage all of our youth league and the mergers that we're trying to accomplish, so that all of our fields are used properly, and that all of our student athletes and all of our children in Woodbridge Township have a great recreation program to play for. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. It's like I said, it's our pleasure, and one thing we want to do in the Recreation Department is give our residents the opportunity to go out and have fun and to do things, and to give them a better quality of life. And like I said, thank you for all your support in all these endeavors that we do.
Right, in the wellness category, category 8210, page 201, line 4335, machinery and equipment. Last year we spent $15,000. This year we're requesting $55,000. I'm assuming it's time to replace a lot of equipment?
Yes, that's our new cardio lease.
Okay.
For our cardio equipment.
Good. And then an accounting, I don't know if this is an accounting, but should we be taking bow tie pool off the books? There's still a category. There's no money, but it.
So I'll let these guys handle it. It takes several years for it to come off the books without funding the money. But
okay. Yeah, you don't have to answer then, that's fine. That's the answer.
Yeah, the historical data is in there, so we can't remove it from the system, so we have to let it kind of till it goes to that year when there's a 0, and then we can remove it.
Gotcha. And then, Brian, can I ask a question about the marina and boat launch?
Sure.
Page 242, line 4995, other outside services, we're requesting $65,218, and past history, we've requested nothing in that line. So I was just wondering what's new.
Yeah, the township had purchased the 2 new marinas, older marinas, but new to us.
Right.
We had the original 28 slips. We purchased the Captain Hook's Marina. I believe that's 22 new slips, and then also Pirates Cove. I think it's 9 or 11. So we have, we purchased over like almost 40 new slips. So there's going to be maintenance involved in that upkeep, and then going forward with the renovation of it.
So it's probably also related to my next question on the same page, 242, line 5295, miscellaneous expense of $72,670, where the history shows no request. So it must be related to the new
exactly.
area. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you. Big fan of cleaning up that creek. You know that.
We're excited.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Crick.
Anything else? Mr. Molnar, to you and your staff, as we talk about our police department and our public works and our seniors, our recreation is also second to none. We appreciate everything your department does, whether it's concerts or youth sports or whatever the recreation department does. We greatly appreciate it as a council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, Council President. That means a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Maluka, I think we'll go back to the first page, beginning with the Office of the Business Administrator. Starting with OE pages 12 through 15, followed by S&W page 4.
Anybody to my left?
I have a
Councilwoman Meehan?
On page 14, professional services, what is those services for $895?
So they're mainly for legal and engineering services that cover multiple departments that kind of fall outside their purview, but under mine, so.
Okay. And then also for page 15, same question, miscellaneous expenses, 5295, what is that for?
For 5295, so the state and federal gave us back money, so or you're talking about 5295, correct?
Correct.
So state and federal gave us back money, they reimbursed us, so they're reimbursed at that line.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Did we cover parking utility? I don't remember. Who was in charge of that? Can I
We're
ask?
going to go back to, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to wrap up with
Okay,
that.
and then, so in the beginning, on page 4 of the whole budget, anticipated revenue. I'm not sure when's the right time, or maybe I should ask Director Hubner. But it talks about anticipated revenue and impound yard fees. There's a significant increase there. Like, are we going to be taking more cars, or what is that increase for?
So we've kind of restructured what we've done there. We've increased our fees and actually streamlined what we do. So it's increased our revenue.
Okay. And then in that same section, under appropriations, page 26, various buildings improvement and equipment, we went from 350,000 to 4 million. Just kind of caught my eye.
A little bit?
Yeah.
So we have several large projects that are in the pipeline. One that you just touched on earlier, which is, of course, the marina, which is going to be a restaurant, a tiki bar, an ice cream, and a fishery store. We're also doing renovations to, we plan to do renovations to the Public Works building, which we hope to incorporate the mechanic shop for the school buses, which is now under the Board of Education, in an interlocal agreement with the school district to get their buses into ours and use the mechanics there. So rather large, and we need to redo that. Also, the street, the parking area behind Vito Mazza. We'll do some improvement projects there also, Council.
That's great. Nice bang for our buck. Thank you.
We'll also ask Mr. Simaluka to take the Office of the Mayor, 1010, and the Office of the Law Department, which is the Law Department and the Prosecutor's Office, pages 2 through 4, 38 through 40, and S&W 1, and 14 and 15.
Anybody to my left?
Next up, Controller, Mr. Fernandez, 30 through 32 on OE, 9 on S&W.
Anybody to my left?
No. Next up is the Council and Clerk, S&W. Council is 4 and 5, Clerk is 8 through 10, and S&W is 2 and 3. Elizabeth?
I just have one question. On page 10, miscellaneous expenses, there's a 5,500 increase on item 5295. I just wanted to know what that was for.
Sure. Every 10 years following the release of the numbers for the federal census, by state statute, a board of ward commissioners has to be established. This is a body of 5 people, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and the municipal clerk. that board has to convene and redraw the ward and district boundaries. These are expenses that will likely be attributed to that. And I based those off of 10 years ago and added a slight increase on that.
And with that being said, any word yet when we should be getting
The numbers will come out in September.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mitch?
Yes, sir.
I have a question under the election expense on page 10, and that is 5125.
Yes, sir.
So it seems to fluctuate, but we tend to appropriate a lot more than we're spending. We have $48,000 for 2021, but the actual amount is $1,300. Is that?
Sure. So what complicates this one is the fact that due to COVID, we had to put 3 elections in one 12-month cycle, one in one 12-month cycle, and we do not typically spend the money until after the fiscal year budget closes. We have to wait for the county to bill us, and the lion's share of the bill is we pay per sample ballot that goes per each registered voter. So we typically have to pay for ballots for about 60,000 registered voters. That bill doesn't come in until about August.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mitch, page 9, item 4995, it's an increase of roughly $78,000.
So those 2 items there, Mr. President, Council Vice President as well. The first is to restore vital statistic books. We took a sabbatical from doing that project for a number of years, but I want to get back to it. Looking at redoing books from 1935 to 1964. The cost is approximately $42,000. And there's an additional $35,000, which is that SDL, which Mr. Simaluka had earlier indicated, and that's with the SDL municipal management software through a company that we're hoping to engage very soon, and as he said, start probably in the clerk's office with regards to Oprah, putting more items online.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have a question. With the new SDL program, so what basically it is like self-serve. If I go on the computer and I'm looking for something, I should be able to find it with this new program without going personally into an office?
So, of course, we're going to start off slow because there's a lot of data to transfer from our database to the SDL software, which is web-based. So yes, in the grand scheme of things, for the most part, you're going to be able, as a resident, to interact from your tablet or your handheld device with almost every department within the township and get the information or apply for different things such as permits, and as long as it's not restricted by law. For instance, like if you're going for a plan or a development plan on your house and you need sealed prints, you'd actually have to bring in the sealed prints. So if it's something that is governed by a law or state statute, you have to follow that state statute, but for the most part, you can do it interactively.
And is it only for our residents, or is it for anyone looking for information of Woodbridge Township?
Good question. It's for anyone that can access the web that requires information from any one of our departments.
Thank you.
And we will be expanding our online interaction, meaning that you can apply online for a permit, hit click and submit, process it, and get back to you. So it eliminates the traffic and it eliminates a lot of paperwork.
Thank you.
On behalf of the council, I just want to thank Mr. Mitch for all your guidance and professionalism, not only towards the council, but towards the residents of Woodbridge Township. You do a great job, and we really appreciate what you and everybody in your office does. Thank you.
With that said, we'll wrap everything up if we can with the 2 utilities, the parking and the marina. Pages 191 through 193 on parking under OE, and 240 and 241 under the marina. 87 and 88 on S&W.
Does this include the parking utility?
Yes.
Okay, parking utility on page 194, item 5295. There's a significant increase. On the miscellaneous expenses, can we just get some clarification on that? 5295 on page 194, miscellaneous expenses.
$158,802 increase.
What's that?
That's pretty
Oh, I'm sorry, it's expansion of downtown parking, forgive me.
Expansion for downtown parking?
Correct.
Thank you.
And how about the line right above that, page 194, line 4995, other outside services? We had no request in the history, and then now we're asking for 153,808 increase.
Also the same, it's for the expansion of downtown parking on both sides.
Okay. Which we
Mr. Simon,
certainly appreciate. Sorry.
Do you have any information regarding specific area of that downtown parking, or where that will be, or is it just in general areas?
It's in general right now. It's in the planning stages, so as soon as we have some more information, we'll share it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Before we close, I just have a closing comment. I'd just like to thank Mayor McCormick for his leadership. This has been a very difficult year with revenues and other things, as everyone knows, for even small businesses, but not only that, for local government. Mayor McCormick's leadership has been stellar. Not only that, our CFO, Manny Fernandez, and his deputy, Michael Klepchak, have been outstanding, along with my deputy, Casey Wagner. I appreciate them. We work together every day. They are diligent in their duties and steadfast in doing their job. So I just want to appreciate them and all the things that they do for the township. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Simaluka. And on the spin side of that, we want to thank you as the council for all the hard work that you and Casey put in, and Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Klubchak. We appreciate everything you do. We know it's not an easy task. We also thank the mayor, of course, for his leadership, Mr. Haggerty for putting this whole thing together. Again, it's a team effort. We appreciate everything. I want to thank my council mates. I know people might have not thought we asked enough questions, but I know each council member probably asked about 15 to 20 questions each in emails and was answered directly by the administration. And again, we're very pleased with the budget, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Council President.
Other comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.